All right, we've got all present and we're starting. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, been a while since we've had those meetings in November. We had two meetings in November, long meetings. I did submit minutes for them, and I would like to, if we could, consider those minutes now. For the minutes minutes from the second, has everyone had a chance to look at that and decide?
Yes.
Yeah.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes for the 2nd of November?
Motion to accept the minutes from November 2nd, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous? Same thing for the 30th.
Motion to accept the minutes from November 30th, 2022.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Unanimous. Okay. Teresa said she may be late joining us, but she's planning on coming later. There are no minutes from the abbreviated meeting of January 12th. And I put it officially here so everyone knows. We met, but we didn't really meet. All right, so want to report the status of the previous Green Communities grant funded program. If you have been following, you know, it was a long struggle, but we made it. We actually got it done. And Mr. Sagal apparently found the invoices we needed to finish, and Karen completed the documents in time and so forth. I forwarded the finished report to all of you. You should have that. And we're eligible to apply for the 2023 spring block. The way I organized our agenda tonight, I wanted to get into the energy master plan discussion for the goals, but Ed has said that he's not prepared to further that tonight. But I think the portion here where we discuss the process, just to get by it, because last time we met with Ed, the process, he had discovered and found a better process than what we had before. It was we had some discussion of it, but when he gave us what he wanted to do, there was some discussion in the background while he was talking about whether we're abandoning the previous plan, the very formal kind of setup that we had. And I thought that we should discuss that, at least in the meeting. It came up in the background, but we didn't get a chance to really discuss it. And I just wanted to make sure that we do a little bit so that everybody's expectations are in line. And if someone should ask us, what happened, there is a line in the minute someplace that said that we intentionally made this change. I had written a bit of dialogue here under the process discussion, and really, it speaks for itself what I wrote. But I think that the original plan that we had prepared, very formal, allowed for flexibility to make it work whatever way we found that it might have to go. Does anyone else have a problem with what we're planning to do here? No. All right. The only concern that I had is that there's more to this than, the participants and how you get together. There were regular, it really was set up for maximum participation in depth with the, focused on the energy part. Whereas now it's going to be sort of broken up into the individual committee and department discussions. But I thought in the original plan, some of the things that we liked about it was that it gave a maximum opportunity for public hearings. There were public hearings scheduled. I assume we would still intend to do that, Ed? Ed? Ed, Ed.
Yeah, I'm here, Ron, sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I was actually going to put the camera on, but I'll answer you first.
Sorry.
So I've been trying to just finish dinner, and I didn't want to be on camera. Sure, if I would favor any public hearings, but as you know, in most of our energy committees, we don't often get much public participation. So the changes I suggest, I think, were more pragmatic and just trying to do what we can with what I think participation there is. But obviously, sure, would never exclude any public participation.
Well, I think it's the maximum engagement, that was in the original plan that I liked. Engagement meaning public engagement and engagement of the various departments and committees. I think your way of doing this is better for engagement of the departments and committees because they should be having the discussions within each committee, right? So it's an exposure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just one person from the committee.
They all should have their own energy awareness or goals.
Right.
And they would be the best ones to go about it. And as I said, as I reviewed most of the what I could for energy master plans, I didn't see any specific plans. They were usually always a part of the overall master plan. And actually, we released our latest, and it's part of the attachments I sent out. But our latest master plan included sections of about energy, and they're not bad. And they're already through it, so they've already kind of they didn't, despite us not having our own master plan, there's still talk of energy and input that I think we gave a little bit, and it came through, and maybe Brent worked with them, but it came out in late of August, so it was a rather new one, but it is lacking, and I think it should just be improved upon what's already there in the master plan.
You see an opportunity. I haven't read it all.
Yeah, so please read it. And if you go through our own Townsend latest, and I think it was August 2022. It mentions energy through it in several sections.
Yeah.
And it was good. What was there is good, but it could be certainly embellished more. And we could come up with more recommendations, and we could come up certainly with, if not another section or an appendix or something else to the master plan with what we recommend and what we come up with.
Well,
for goals.
Beth Paxton had requested time at a meeting a couple months ago, and she couldn't come to the meeting. But what she was trying to do is get us to look at with her into the sections of the master plan that have, that do mention energy. And there's several specific points, but you're right. It can be better handled if we get it into these groups and have a specific set of goals to start with. Now, the goals that you had proposed, based on the Shirley set of goals. That's still, even when we're done getting a list of goals that we're happy with, that's still going to have to be flexible because the other departments haven't seen it yet, right? Because they may have other takes on it and add later. So it's pretty obvious that some degree of flexibility has to be built in, and fortunately, it was built into the original plan. That's really all this was. It's just a process discussion. And now that is everyone satisfied that we've had a proper discussion of what's happened relative to the original plan? We're proceeding on it's basically still the same plan, same set of set of processes. You're going to be collecting input on the from experts and all that sort of thing. It may take a different form than what you might imagine because the things are still to be discovered as the other departments get involved. But is everyone satisfied with the direction we're taking, which is a little different from what we had set in our original proposal to create a master plan subcommittee? Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Yes, great. All right, I'm glad. I just wanted to make sure we had that discussion because it does look different from what we put in print before. Okay. We're going to, for now, would you propose to table for now, add the further discussion of the subcommittee goals?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I had a rough January, so I couldn't make the last meeting.
All right. So
for a few weeks, I had no time, and my goals were actually to get back to. I know, as you mentioned, I kind of showed the committee the Shirley goals, which I kind of liked, and but we got a little bit of feedback, and I wanted to address the feedback. I took the feedback as maybe providing a little bit more detail, and the goals may have been more for people in an energy committee rather than the general public. So,
right. So
something in that area.
So you're have a motion to table this item until our next meeting.
Yeah, I motion to table it till next meeting.
Is any second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, table the next meeting. The next item on our agenda is the residential energy aggregation and municipal consolidation stuff. I forwarded to you folks the invitation to join to learn the proposal that's being made for this. It's actually the materials. The town has already signed with Good Energy. They've prepared materials for the public that have not been made public yet, and the proposal and the materials are going to be presented to the Board of Selectmen next, in a few days, and probably next week. I think it was the 21st. I sent to everyone the invite. That is one way where we can learn about it and not have to spend meeting time with the same presentation that is going to be given to the Board of Selectmen. So if you can make it, great. We'd like to everybody be comfortable with your vote. I have a feeling it's probably a pretty decent program anyway, but and we just would like to be in position at our next meeting, if possible, without having to have a special meeting with Ross. He's willing to come and do the presentation for us. You know, we could do it online. We could do it, you know, at the library, I suppose. But if you can get to that meeting and get an idea ahead of when the rest of the town is learning about it, we could vote and to support that program. That's really all we're trying to do at this point. Any questions about that? Okay. In preparation for the spring block, I'm talking about the spring block now of all things. You know, about 2 weeks ago, I said, "Oh, we'll never get there." It's been a struggle. All right, so the spring block. For the spring block, we talked at one of our previous meetings that they wanted us to set up priorities, and the committee gave me authority to try to set up the priorities with RISE. I learned in the process, you know, somewhere along the line here, that they had, and I'm wondering why they want us to set priorities. Why don't you just, you know, update the quote? I mean, what do you mean? I want everything. What do you mean? Set my anyway. It turns out that apparently RISE had some turnover, and they searched the desks of the people who left and did our original quote, but they didn't find anything. So they really basically are starting over again with you know, how many boilers does it have? And, you know, I don't know, all that stuff. Anyway. We really didn't let them off the hook that badly. I mean, I recognize that we along the way I discovered that it raises more questions than it really and about options when we set the priorities. Anyway, there was an opportunity line. I didn't actually give you guys another copy of the quote, but the quotation that we worked with last year, and if you saw the priority list that I sent to Frank, which is an Excel file, and it is just written right on the original Excel file that is our opportunity list that we've been picking from. Line 22 was the retro commissioning study at the Senior Center Library. And in conversation last year, Rob Beauchamp had told me that he thought the library needed work. And we know that there's still some items for the library on our list. But I did not understand last year when we were looking at this stuff, what is a retro commissioning study? You know, what do you get for that? And one of the files I sent to you has some of the details of what's included, but the bottom line is that it doesn't provide any repairs, it doesn't provide any equipment. It provides it is literally a study so that they can develop detailed recommendations about what needs to be done to improve. And apparently the Department of Energy is comfortable with estimating that this can save you 15% of your energy. So that's how that comes. That's how that estimate on our opportunity list is arrived. 15%. The Board of Selectmen has asked us if this program would help pay for ceiling fans in the library. You know, library being one building, but there's a that retrofit at the library it turns out that that's probably something that we might want to look at, because the library ends up being one of our higher priority. Now, when we get to my screen share, we'll look at that items. There were other technical things in the quotation that I asked questions on. For example, they had to replace boilers line in our previous quote. Replacing the boilers is no longer offered. It's, get rid of the boilers and put in heat pumps instead. And this is a big deal. It's a really big deal, because you're talking about switching from gas to electricity. Probably a lot of money involved. I don't know how much we would save, but I'll show you some relative information that we might be useful. So they're replacing the boilers. Not possible. But it's a big deal, because you have to because if you do electrify a building, you have to decarbonize. You have to complete all the recommendations for the building prior to that. And we would have to pay out of pocket for the lights and light bulbs, and for the windows improvement that they were requiring at the town hall if we were to do that. So that's just another question that has been answered. I asked about special eligibility under the Green Communities Grant Program, and it turns out that there's a program where you have good standing and you've saved a minimum 15% energy reduction over the last 3 years as compared to your base. They open up projects that are otherwise not incentivized. But I was advised back that we had a 7.5% reduction. This is from Karen Chapman. We've had a 7.45 reduction in energy usage since the baseboard years, and 6% over the last 3 years. So we don't qualify for special projects, but that 6% savings over the last 3 years does give an indication, at least, of what we're saving. Along the same lines, I'll get into in a moment to what I've learned from Mass Energy Insight, because I know how much the town spends on energy now. I've always been puzzled by that. We're trying to save money, right? Well, how much money does the town spend? Now we have a number now. Coming up in a minute. The next question asked was about the status of the Squanicook Elementary. We keep hearing that it's not eligible because it didn't have data of the base year. And then Mr. Slagle, when I asked him, returned the answer that it's not used as a school by the school district, even though they own it. They use it as an admin building. The town does not pay energy bills for this building. Of course, it's the Early Learning Center over there, isn't it? It's Squanicook. That's online. That's what it says. So it's a North Middlesex Regional School District item, and it was on our list that we shared with the school district. All the schools are on a separate list, but I took that one off so that we're not going to have to worry about it. And I also told Rise not to bother to check the light bulbs in there on our behalf, because it's not going to benefit us. It doesn't belong in our quote. So we got some answers to questions that'll be useful when we get into that back list. Mass Energy Insight progress. Well, I've gotten in there and got my feet wet in the database a little bit. their database is not organized that for the schools is not organized the same as ours. So you can't just like download both of them and marry them. You got to rearrange the data to make a spreadsheet out of both of them. So I've kept them separate. But basically our schools, the database in MEI includes data that we have not concerned ourselves with as a committee. It includes all the fuels used by the trucks and vehicles, by police, water department, fire department, and the public works. It includes the street lights and everything for the water department, which is a very interesting one. In total, the non-school entities here in town use in 2022 spent they spent $313,000 on energy. That's gas and liquor, and on all vehicle fuels as well. The schools, which would be in our case just the Hawthorne Brook and Spalding, spent $182,000. So altogether, we're very close to $500,000 in annual energy expense for the town, not including the schools that are not strictly town. That's the base. That's the basis. That's what we've been working on to save. I never realized how much money that was being spent. I think we could try to do the screen share now, Hartley, on the computer, my computer, not the one where you can see me, the one where you can't see me, the little R there.
Okay, I empowered you.
Empowered me. That sounds great. Can you see that screen?
Yeah.
We can.
No, I can't.
It's an Excel screen.
Hasn't come yet.
No,
No, you don't have it?
no.
Why?
Question of the hour.
Is there something I got to do in Zoom to make that come up?
Yeah, you gotta hit share screen and pick it.
You have to have the Zoom button to do that, though, right?
Yeah.
We
It's down
see
at the
it.
bottom. It says share screen.
It's a green button.
On the Zoom screen. Bring that down.
Ron, move your cursor a little bit. Sometimes the bottom line of the screen will fade out, but if you move your cursor, it'll come back.
It's funny. I don't have that button. I said I am on the Zoom. Turn this around. Yeah. Well, I know.
It's a little blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot blurry.
See, I thought maybe you'd be able to help me from being able to see my screen, but not going to work. No.
Might have. It's just blurry.
So it's on the laptop that I'm trying to get you. It has a second screen. I'll Zoom. I'm looking for where I can get it.
If you put your cursor down lower.
I tried down. It's all the way down to the bottom, and there's nothing there but a gray, expanse.
Really?
It's, no. Sorry, folks. I'm having trouble getting this thing going. Right. It says launch meeting. It's just like launch meeting. You don't see launch meeting. Try it again.
Ron, should I try your other,
There you go. I think so. This will work now.
Okay.
Alright. All right, I've got everything but that button. Don't have a share button. I can see all you guys on that screen, but I don't have that button. More. Share screen. All right. I found the share screen button and I pushed it. It says host has disabled screen sharing.
That's not what I did. Should I try your other, try it again. No, you're the co-host, Ron. Should I try your other screen and see what happens there? Okay, I'll do it anyway.
Try this one.
Well, whichever one is the one where you have the Excel spreadsheet displayed, I guess.
That's not this one. That's this one. And I have a thing that says screen share options. So one participant can share at a time. But at the Zoom and in the Zoom box it says host has disabled screen sharing. I don't know what that means.
No, that's not what I have done.
You're the host, Ron.
No, I'm the host of
Yeah.
I'm the host of this meeting,
Oh,
but I've given Ron co-hosting power so he can screen share. That's the way it's supposed to work anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to experiment with this. Anyway, can't have no way of getting you there. I did send a screen print of the file that I'm trying to show you, and it'd be probably a PDF or a JPEG out of that bunch of files that I sent this afternoon. And what it'll show, it's a graph actually.
oh, that was the graph.
Yeah. Try to open it myself. Yeah. Did you all received a package of email today with one of them was a screen print TEC MEI towns and non-schools comparison chart.
Yeah. I'm gonna open up.
It's a PG.
It's PUB, which I don't know what that is.
Let's see if you try to open it, what happens.
Nothing.
Publisher, Microsoft Publisher.
Oh.
I meant to, well, I saved that twice. Apparently I sent you the original one because I also saved that as a JPEG, and I apparently sent you the.
Oh yeah, I was able to open it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you others can't open. I'll try to get you a copy. But Ed, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see those blocks at the lower half of the page. See where it says use, emissions, and cost by item level?
Yeah.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
What's the first department there is what?
Water.
See how, so that orange block there, the height shows the comparative cost of that department in energy, and the length shows the relative emissions of that department. And if you look at that relative to all the other buildings, you know, your water department on that subcommittee is, you know, they've got quite a challenge too, because they've got all these wells all over town, you know. Anyway, the idea of this chart is to show the comparative issue that we have with where the problems are. The biggest one. These are highlighted by the largest to the smallest. The largest problem we have in energy is the water department. They use quite a bit. The next one after that was a senior center, and we got a couple more before we get to the Memorial Hall. So as we set priorities, this kind of a chart, which I'll get to you, Mike and Kathy.
No, I've got it.
Oh, you can get it?
Ron, yeah.
Were you
Yeah,
able to open it, Kathy?
I couldn't open it, no.
What would be better is if we had screen share. This is an interactive chart. If you put your cursor over the bar in the for the water department, for example, and you travel over the course of that, it'll show you each of the wells, how much they use, all that in detail. And you do the same thing with the others. Anyway, in order, this part of the agenda was just to say that I'm learning MEI. Karen Chapman has been helpful. She's guided me to some training materials. There is another screen that we'll make sure we can do. I'll talk to Hartley about practicing this and getting my thing to work for us, my screen to work for us next time. But MEI is going to be useful. I don't know whether the water department is actually using it, right? It's a useful resource, but I don't know if they're using it. And I don't know what resources they have because we haven't been offered anything for the water department through MEI, right? So through the Green Communities program. So I don't know what there is that we can use to help them, but it's just the size of the water department as an issue of electric consumption in town is significant. All right, so I'm learning to use MEI. We're down to topics not reasonably expected. Don't have anything. We have no public forum. We have any questions on the MEI thing?
Well, I think the water department is totally separate from the town stuff. They don't,
They're not a tax item. We're
Yeah.
not supporting them through our taxes.
yeah,
But
They're on their
as-
own budget, I believe.
Yeah.
And supported by our water bills,
yes,
not our tax.
the relationship and whether we should be involved with that at all, I would like to know because it is on our MEI, and they are producing emissions. Even if we're not spending the money, they are producing emissions.
I do believe we purchased something called a VF variable frequency.
I was just going to say, I remember that.
Remember the VFD, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's
it was-
probably for some specialized control that really reduced the pumping cost of the water. And we did. I know we gave them grants, right?
Yeah.
Many years back, at least
Oh,
8.
so that's an item. That's an item that fell off our list that we had at one time.
Maybe.
Was it a Green Communities item? Is what I meant.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Karen Chapman again, if she might know better the year, but I know she was involved too.
Well, it's good to know, and you'll get to know what's going on there a little bit in your work, Ed, later on. I think when you're working with them. Does anyone? No public forum. We're scheduling our next meeting. I guess we get to that. All right. A March meeting. Is everybody okay for March as far as you know? Date and time? March. Can we go like the 16th of March?
Problem from my end. Yeah.
Okay,
16th of March.
Yep.
3:16. 7 p.m. Do any of you want to consider meeting in person, like the library? You know, large room. I would wear a mask probably, but I'm willing to meet if we in person if we were to do something like that. Anyone else willing to meet in person rather than on the line thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go there anyway for taxes.
Ed, you okay with that?
yeah, I guess I could.
With some improvement to our ability to communicate in person.
Yeah,
It helps a
well,
lot.
if you could share documents, well, it sometimes,
You know,
I
that
find these better.
I don't know if they still I don't know if they still have it, but at the library they had that big display that you could
Yeah,
connect the computer
yeah.
to. You know, it'd be fine.
Yeah, we can consider it, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for being with us this evening, and I'll get those
going-
turned in. Write up
I'm
new
going
ones.
to the library next time on the 16th.
We're talking about that.
Oh,
I would have to make the arrangement with the library, right? So right now, let's make our meeting arrangement to be online at that time on that date, and I will check with the library to see if that's possible. Okay, you'll be in touch. Right now, it's going to be an online meeting scheduled for that time. Now, see if the library is available, and then we'll make the change with Hartley if we need to.
Actually, Ron, if you have any questions or requests of TCAM, you should contact Dave Funioli. He's the person.
I will do that.
He's the
I
person.
will do that.
Thank you.
And I'll make the schedule request at the library, then contact Dave.
Okay, and also ask Dave about the problems with your screen sharing. Maybe he can give you some advice on that.
I think I should just practice with him. You know, we'll just do that and be ready in case I need it in the future. If
Okay.
we meet in person at the library, probably don't need it. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
No
Have
problem.
a great evening, everyone.
So are you guys adjourning?
We are going to adjourn.
motion
Okay,
to
thank you.
adjourn.
I think I see you have someone say you want to adjourn. Okay. Adjourning. Kathy?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you, everyone.